Welcome to another Inside the U interview session. I've got Jaden Harris on the show, recent Miami signee. Jaden, what's going on, man?
Going on, man? Nothing much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you joining me. I know things have been hectic with the holidays and stuff. So I want to go back a little bit. We're going to go through a little bit of your journey, but the Georgia Elite Classic, how did that go? You know, and for people that don't know, it's like an all-star game for seniors and juniors and also underclassmen there in Georgia. But how'd that go? And how was it like just kind of being back on the field?
It was a great experience. A lot of people kind of questioned me and why would I play in a game like that when I already signed and all things like that. But I just love to compete. That's one of those games where you get to play against some of the top talent in Georgia. So it's kind of like it's just you got to, I just want to go out there and compete one last time with some of the best talents in Georgia. That's what I love to do is compete. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, and just kind of hearing you say that and also participating, Coach Cristobal actually made a mention of in his press conference that he encourages all senior, everybody to play an all-star game, all those kind of things, kind of for the same reason, just to compete and all of that. So I thought I didn't think much of it in the sense that it aligned with Miami's new head coach. Is that going to be it for you? Do you have another all-star game? That's kind of your last competition for a while now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that as of now, that's gonna be it. So.
I want to go back to signing day. Can you kind of, for people that weren't there at your ceremony, what was that like for you to officially, make your announcement on where you're going to school and kind of support, what was signing day like for you? And also maybe even like waking up, the excitement of it just throughout that whole day. And I'm sure there were a lot of supporters of yours, really, really embracing what you kind of went through there.
Yeah, so I couldn't sleep the night before. I was just so ready to get it over with. I was so ready to I finally had made my decision. So it was just one of those things where I was like, I'm done. This is the decision I made and I'm ready. So I signed like in the morning, I signed the papers and I sent it over to the coach because I had to sign like 7 a.m. So I signed early in the morning and then I went to school, kind of finished up some of my final exams. And then signing day was right after. And then a lot of people came and supported me. I hadn't made my announcement, so people were still, trying to figure out what school I was going to. It was kind of fun. It's like me and my teammates, they were trying to figure out. And then I signed with Miami. And it was just the best feeling in the world. Like, finally, I just felt at peace with my decision. I feel like there's no place where I'd rather be.
What was it, or what is it about Miami? And I know you took it. They got involved with you. For people that don't know, kind of that last month or so, the last couple months,
Right.
when you get the offer. When did it become a little bit more of a realistic option? Because sometimes schools do throw out offers, but you're kind of weighing: do they want me or need me? And then also, how do you fit in? There's other schools that were obviously recruiting you, but maybe take me back on how Miami's involvement came to be, and just the process where it eventually became, look, that's the school I want to go to.
Right. Well, to be honest with you, since the day they offered me, it's kind of a realistic option for me. I had to do my research. I love what I found out about Coach T. Rob. I just love the way he's made a lot of corners and he's coached up a lot of great corners. I love Florida in itself because I grew up out there, and just a chance to be able to kind of go back to that home feeling. It just felt right. I love the history of Miami football. Since I was a kid, growing up, watching guys like Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I mean, just watching those kind of guys and knowing their story, I kind of felt like it was a little similar to my story, kind of being like unrecruited and underrated kind of. So I just felt like if I worked hard enough, I could be like some of those guys.
So you're doing your research and from afar, right? Like you're trying to learn as much as you can. You're hearing about it. What was it like when you finally got to campus? The official visit, and what stood out
Right.
to you about the visit? Was there something that you're like, okay, this is great. This is the place that I was hoping it would be.
As soon as I got off the plane,
Yeah.
uh, like in the airport, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, yeah, I told mom, like, this is home. Everything about it, the campus, the campus, the facilities, it just felt like paradise. It felt like home for me. It felt like a place where I had to get back to. Um, that's the kind of feeling that I need to feel on one of those visits, and that was the one I felt on. the other places, it was like, yeah, they got like nice facilities and stuff like that. But I think you can't beat that home feeling.
The other schools you were considering, I know you had, so the four hats you had, it was K-State, Georgia Tech, Missouri. You also visited Virginia. Is that right? But
Yeah.
did you ever go to Missouri, or was it just those?
No, so I didn't go to Missouri.
Yeah, those other three. And clearly, I was not a recruitable athlete, but I have been to those campuses, and all three. Just different ones. They provide different things to the table. What
Right.
ultimately was there a second choice that you were thinking about? Was it Georgia Tech because they were closer? I know some people thought you would go there. Maybe you surprised some people, but was there a second choice where you're like, I really did like this place, or maybe it was K-State? I think maybe you went there first, but what was there one of those other schools?
All three of those schools had a pretty they had a good chance. I like K-State. I like Georgia Tech a lot. I've been in Georgia Tech like 5 or 6 times growing up. Those are the camps I went to. And Georgia Tech gave me a home feeling as well for a long time, but just a little different when I went to Miami.
Just a little different, that's for sure. So let's back it up a little bit. Your soccer background, Coach Cristobal mentioned that. Can you explain it? How much did you play? Where were you at with your soccer? As you were coming up, how much were you playing?
Right. So I grew up playing soccer since before I can even remember, all the way up until like 7th or 8th grade, and I was really good at soccer. I played up like middle school level, like as like probably 6 or 7 year old, and I was just really good, but I didn't really love it. I kind of did it because my dad and my granddad did it, and they played professionally. So just one of those kids that just wanted to follow after my dad.
So what positions were you playing, and what was that decision like? Because you're pushing that, you're going all up until the high school level, where you kind of feel like the decision. And then what was the decision made? And then when did you get involved with football? How was that process?
I played striker, and let's see. So it was hard at first because I felt like I let like whole side of my family down, but it was one of those decisions I had to make to help me become a man. Like I got to do what's best for me and what I want to do. So I started back playing football my freshman year. I played Pee Wee football like when I was 6 years old, but I just like it wasn't serious at all, as you know. So I played freshman football. I played as a freshman, and I was the punter. And then my sophomore year, I was the punter again. And I played like the end of the season, I played defensive end. And then after that, my junior year, that was my first year ever playing corner or in the second year at all. And then my senior, and a little bit of everything.
What was that transition like? Because obviously you're playing football. I don't imagine you expected to be the punter, but they probably figured your soccer background. That's when were you itching to get on the field to play different positions? What was that? It felt like you're there. It probably felt like it was going a little slower than you would like with your progression there.
Right. So honestly, I mean, when I was a punter, I kind of thought that that's where I belong and that's where I was going to play. And then when I had to step up and help the team, that's where I kind of fell in love with the game. Like I really enjoyed playing defense. And it kind of just happened out of nowhere where I was like a football player. So that's when I started really falling in love with the game right there at the end of my sophomore year.
Did you have any welcome to football kind of moments? I find this very interesting. It's not just the soccer to football transition. You're talking about an offensive soccer player at that position. Now you're flipping to defense. Just the mentality, let alone the sport. Was there an eye-opening moment that you remember either in a practice or game where, okay, this is a little bit different, and you're going to have to essentially, at one point you had to step up your game to get to this level?
Right. I had a lot. Every practice and every game was a kind of welcome to football. I say my first practice was the biggest one, but that's where I kind of learned like who I was at the same time, because we had it was the first practice. It was on the JV team, and this was like my first day getting in pads. So we just did Oklahoma. We did like a scrimmage, but then it was really, really bad. So coach got mad, and we did Oklahoma's for the rest of the practice. So when I stepped up there, I was going to tackle against our running back, and he ran me over. He ran me over about, I say, 6 or 7 times in a row. And I just kept going. And they laughed at me for a really long time, but then they started to realize, like, man, that kid, like, you know what I'm saying, he wants it. So that was my welcome to football moment right there.
Yeah. Were you always at Riverwood?
No, sir, I was at North Springs High School freshman and sophomore year.
And then you made the move to Riverwood.
Yes, sir.
When did you touched on your love for the game? When did that come up? Again, the craft at the position you're playing. When did you start to feel like, okay, I've got a chance at this. I might have a chance to be good, be a good player. And what has the process been like the last couple years? Essentially, I know you said sophomore, but just the last couple years for you as you make that the transition to Riverwood there.
Right. So my love for the game kind of happened my sophomore year, that first practice where I was starting, and I was just making a whole bunch of tackles. I just felt free. I was just one of those vocal kind of players, and that's where my love came from. I didn't know that I had a chance, honestly. I'll say maybe until my senior year, my first game of my senior year. I had a interception, I had a touchdown. I was doing all kind of like punt returns and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably have a chance to play on the next level. And that's when I kind of figured it out.
You guys had a good season. I'm sure you're 9-2. But the way it ended, does it still just that loss there in the playoffs there? Does it still bother you? I know it's not that long ago. Is it something that kind of eats at you a little bit? Because that's obviously not the way you want to end your career in high school there.
Right. I think about it all the time, but it's a little different when you leave it all out there. I left it all out there on a sprained ankle. I tried to do everything for my team, play offense, defense, safety, cover. I followed the best guys. So it was one of those things where we did everything. I know there's a lot of guys on the team I could think of on the top of my head that did every single thing that they could have just to win that game, and we just didn't. So
yeah, that's good. What positions were you playing? I know you touched on a couple there, but I'd seen obviously got the offensive stats, running back. What positions did you play this past year?
The past year, I played punter, punt return. I played safety. I played nickel, corner, running back, receiver. A little wildcat, and I think that's it.
And I want to get to corner, but punt return, to me, the players that do that, it's always very interesting. It seems like an acquired skill. Not even if you have speed and quickness, it still takes something extra, I think, to excel at that. How much do you like it? Is it something that you hope to do at Miami?
It's something that I hope to do. I definitely have to get better. My problem was just catching the ball. Well, if I catch the ball, I think it's over with. I'm gonna get 6, but that's the biggest thing. Looking the ball in, knowing when to make the catch, when to make the fair catch, and that's pretty much it. But once I touch the ball, this great things gonna happen.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, or you touched on it. You grew up in Florida. Where did you grow up, and also when did you kind of move to Georgia there?
Tampa, Florida. I grew up out there. My whole family's from out there. We moved out there when I was 6 months old, and then I moved back to Georgia probably around 11 or 12, around that time.
Gotcha. Still family in the area?
Yes, sir. Still all out there.
So kind of cornerback stuff, what do you envision the offseason like? Because I know you're not going to enroll early at Miami, but, so you've got some time to get ready. Essentially, and other players will enroll early. Obviously, people on the current roster will be involved in spring ball. I know you don't want to fall back as much as possible. So what do you anticipate offseason like being like until you get to UM? Are there things in mind? Do you have a trainer? What are some things you will be doing to be as ready as possible?
I'm doing the same exact thing I did last year. And I'm adding a little bit more to it because I want to stay healthy. So I just work out with Oliver Davis, OD. You might have heard of him. I work out with him pretty much 4 or 5 days, 3 to 4, 5 days out the week. And then I'm working out just on my body lifting at this local gym. I have a trainer too around the area. But then also I'm doing like yoga, stretching, making sure that I go to Miami healthy.
Jaden, is that hard for you, the workouts, in terms of motivating yourself to get out there? I know you touched on earlier with the love of the game. Is this something, that part of the game? Everybody
Nah,
loves Saturdays or Friday nights, but
right.
that part, that grind of it, is it something that you
Yeah.
have grown accustomed to?
That's the easiest part right there. The grind, the when you can see yourself getting better every day, that's the easiest part.
How soon are you starting this? Because again, the holidays coming up. How soon will you get into your off-season workout plan?
I started about 2 weeks ago, and then I took a couple of days off because my back started hurt. So now they just tell me to be more cautious and more serious about my body because I'm about to become a college athlete. So I had to take a couple of days off just to do some yoga and get back loose. And I'll start back this Monday.
I was curious about the other guys in your class. Again, you were a guy that signed. You made the announcement later. How much do you know about the other recruits? Have you gotten to know them, develop some relationship with the other guys coming to Miami that'll be in your class?
I played with Chris Graves on the Cam Newton team, and I played with Jaleel. We all played on the same team. That's kind of crazy. We definitely didn't know that we would be teammates, but we played on the same team. And actually, those were the guys who I was actually talking to a little bit close with because I was the new kid. So I roomed with Chris Graves in Texas, and I got to know him well. He's a real cool guy, down to earth, man. I can't wait to go fishing with him. And Jaleel was really cool. I was talking to him the whole time. So those are two guys that I really actually bonded with.
And now that, with Chris, it looks like he's kind of similar in the sense that he's played multiple positions, but I know corner's kind of where they envision. Be looking forward to kind of going through the process with him in terms of development and practice of the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the reasons why I chose Miami. I want to be in a room where we got to compete, and every single day, it's no days off. I know that if he's slacking, he's going to be worried about me. If I'm slacking, I'm be worried about him. And that's a place, that's where Miami, I think that's where they need guys where people are in a room competing for the job. And I want to be surrounded by great players like Chris.
And Jaleel, on the offensive side of the ball, when did you kind of think that he could pick Miami after all his recruitment?
I had no idea at all. I wouldn't have guessed it. But, man, I was so happy. I was jumping around like a little girl when I saw that. I actually had no idea because we didn't talk much about recruitment. We didn't talk about that at all. But, man, I was excited.
Yeah, good player. Jaleel's a good player. I mean, what have you seen from him as a player?
He speaks for himself, man. Just a great player. When I seen that guy run, I'm like, this man is running like me. He's just 7 foot tall. I mean, he's just a different breed, man. It's gonna be crazy to watch him play. Go against him in practice every day. I can't wait. He's a great player.
You'll go against guys like that at practice. Some talented players. You'll have plenty of competition in the secondary room. All of that combined with the stuff that you said, wanting to work out and kind of get better. You've seen yourself get better year to year. Seems like really looking forward to the competition, the competing, the whole process, that the competitive environment that it's going to be when you get here. You speak on that a little bit, and maybe what you're expecting, when you arrive in the summer and you're into your first year. Again, looking far ahead.
Right. My biggest and main goal is just to help Miami get back to where it needs to be, where it's supposed to be, and whatever I can do to help the team. That's just whatever I'm gonna do. I don't care if I'm just a gunner on punt return for the next 2 years. I just want to help the team win. I want the team to be in the best possible position to win every game. So I just can't wait to get down there, compete, and do whatever I can do to work every day just to help the team win.
All right, Jaden, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Looking forward to hearing how your offseason goes. I know you're going to stay on that grind. So I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you taking the time. Good talking to you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.